So I'm gonna briefly talk about our web scraping Piazza part. As you can see, we imported the Piazza API from the library, and then first we scraped all of the data we can get from the Piazza data set. And then here you can see that this is all the data we can get from the API. And you can see this it's way too much for us to embedding data into our chatbot. So that we had a meeting to discuss which part of the data we're going to use, like what part of the data is the most important that we're going to scrape and then use for embedding. First we decided that the post type would be very important, like whether it's a note or whether it's a question. So if it's a note from instructor, we can collect the information in the note for embedding. And then also if it's a question from students or instructors, we could collect the answers from the questions also as the part of our embedding information. And then also the specific content and the title of the post will also be very important to our embedding database. Like the information contained in the content and the title would be very important. And then last but not least, the fill-out part and the answer part would be very like the most important part for our embedding database. So as you can see, the Piazza have two kinds of, answers that we would have answers or we would have follow-up discussions. Like these are two different parts, but these all like contains very important informations from whether instructors or students. So we're scraping both of them. And also you can see here. Let's have an example. We have follow-ups here, like this is the all the follow-up from this post. We can see that for the follow-ups, we also scraped whether this is a follow-up from a student or an instructor. Because for embedding, we thought that the most useful and the first choice would be instructors' answers that would be more useful for our data embedding. So as we choose in the source, we would mainly choose, answers from instructors. Yeah. And then um what else? Yeah, so I think that would be all.
All right, so I'm going to talk about after we extract all this informations and texts from Piazza. So after fetch Piazza posts, after we fetch all this informations and contents from Piazza, we're going to do a bit of data processing, so that we can vectorize our data from Piazzas and embed it to our chatbot. So after we call fetch Piazza post, we are going to save all this data to Piazza post data, and then we're gonna call post to text. This function is going to process the data we fetch from Piazzas and make it to a very plain text, so that we can chunks the text and vectorize these chunks and embed it to our chatbot. So we are going to call post text. Post text is here. For each post in our post data, we are going to call post info to text. So for each post, we are going to do this function here, post info to text. And for each post, we are going to extract subject, content, answers, follow-ups, and replies if they have it. If this post have these subjects. So subject is basically the title of the post. The post can be question, can be notes, and the content it's the content of the post. Answers, well, if this post is it's a question, then there's an answer. And there may be follow-ups, and follow-ups may have some replies. And notice that we record the type of answers, type of follow-up, and type of reply. This type stand for the persons who reply or make the follow-up or answer the questions. And it's there's only 2 or 3 types: professors, instructors, and students. The reason we record type of answers is because we want our student user can have the choice to choose their preferred answers. So let's say there's some answers for a certain homework, and our chatbot is going to generate an answer that is combining students' answers and instructor answer. And what we want is if the user want instructor answer, then the user can ask the chatbot to respond the instructor answers, because maybe the user think the instructor answer is more accurate than the student's answers. So that's why we record the type of answers or follow-ups or replies. So we give the user a chance to choose what answers they want. So once we extract all this informations, all these contents for each post, oh, by the way, so there's a clean HTML functions right here. Is just it just cleaning the HTML, it extract the information from HTML structures. So the raw data is inside some HTML structures, and we want to clean up all these structures and have really clean task. So the clean HTML is going to do a cleaning job. And then once all these things done, we are gonna send these texts to the chunks functions and to vectorize them and write it to the our chatbot. And I'm going to do a little demonstrations of the works we so far have achieved. So I'm going to run the code. Takes a bit of time to run it. So we are taking data science 553 data mining course as examples of this demonstration. All right, so all right, so this is our interface. Now it extract the top 15 posts from this course, Data Science 553. And we can try to ask, for examples, what right, we give some hints. I give some hints for homework 4, text 2.2. Right. And as we can see here, that is what we embed. So there are some follow-ups here. This instructor indicates that we can email her for checking the our task submissions. So let's ask if I can send So yeah, it wants if yeah. So you can send emails to Hao Yue, and it gives the these TA's email address. And for examples, let's say if you want to let's ask if we can use data Spark data frames or in text one. Yes, we can use it in task one. Yeah, however, in task two, you cannot use Spark data frame. And let's say if we want in this post, we can see there's a student's answers and instructor answers. Let's test our let's try this post. Why is I so the answers talks about the correct data handlings and the usage of functions. I think the usage of functions is it's the answers from the TAs from instructors says we need to check the hash functions here. And about data handlings comes from here, from the student's answers. So let's say if we only want instructors' answers. Yeah, and then it talks about the implementations of the algorithms. I think which here is the hash functions. And it didn't talk about like the data handling stuff. So yeah, so you can choose whether the answers comes from instructors or students.
In our project, after we scrapped all the posts from Piazza using Piazza API, we have this kind of data structure. We have UID, type, content, subject, and follow-ups. And it is stored here, post data. So I'm in charge of storing all the data in a database using SQLite. It's gonna be local because we don't want to scrap all the posts every time because it's gonna cost a lot of time. So we want to store them in a local database. And when we run the chatbot, we only scrap the real-time data, but the history data, we're gonna call them from our database. So you're gonna save a lot of time. So from here, we clean the HTML. Also, we join all the text together, and then we save them to a database. So in our database, it's gonna be ID and this long contacts. This long contacts. I'll print a field lines to show the data structure. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is post 1. And this is the content, including the post content, which is the post description, and the answers were follow-ups from student or instructor. We also have that tag. So as you can see, this is the long contact. And follow-up. We also save the keyword. So after embedding, the model will know what the model will be more clear of different part of the text. Yeah. So after we save them in our database, we call them from the database again, and when we are calling them, we are not getting their host IDs. We only get the content, and we join all the content together, and we have this combined content. So in the end, the combined content is printed, which is here. Assignment 5 released, blah, blah, blah. This is the combined contents of all the previous posts. For presentation, I'm only web scraping parts of the posts, only 20 posts, but in our final project, we're gonna post all of them, which is like 500 posts. Yeah, so that's it for my part. Thank you.